The Galactic Assembly fell silent as Navigator Kixtal approached the central podium. The small, crystalline being moved with obvious pain, her bioluminescent form flickering weakly, a shadow of the radiant creature she had been before the Earth expedition. Of the 3,000 beings who had journeyed to humanity's homeworld as part of the First Contact diplomatic mission, she alone had returned. Honored Assembly, Kixtal began, her voice transmitted through harmonic resonances that made the translator erase hum with strain. I come before you to deliver a warning that may preserve our civilizations, though it will shatter everything we thought we knew about the universe. Chancellor Morthak of the Hegemony shifted his massive bulk impatiently. Navigator, your ship's logs show no evidence of weapons fire, no signs of military engagement. Yet you claim the humans destroyed your entire expedition. How do you explain this contradiction? Kixtal's crystalline form pulsed with a deep, mournful blue. Because they didn't destroy us with violence, Chancellor. They destroyed us with kindness. A ripple of confusion passed through the assembly. Representative HFY of the Trade Federation leaned forward, her tentacles writhing with skepticism. Kindness is not a weapon, Navigator. For humans, it is their most devastating one, Kixtal replied. When we arrived at Earth, we expected the standard First Contact protocols, formal diplomatic meetings, careful negotiations, mutual wariness. Instead, they invited us to their homes. She paused, gathering strength for what came next. Captain Velmore was invited to something called a barbecue by a human named Jake. Jake worked at what humans call a hardware store, not a military installation or government facility, just a place where civilians purchase tools. Captain Velmore was offered what humans call beer and spent 6 hours discussing. The assembly murmured nervously. Kixtal continued. Commander Earthloss was approached by a human child, offspring barely past their equivalent of our larval stage, who simply wanted to show her something called a butterfly. Commander Earthloss, who had commanded fleets across 12 systems, spent an entire day following this small human through what they call a park, learning about Earth's insects. This hardly sounds threatening, interrupted Chancellor Morthak. That's exactly the problem. Kixtal's light flared desperately. Don't you understand? We came prepared for politics, for warfare, for deception. Instead, we found genuine curiosity about our cultures, our histories, our biology. Humans didn't see us as threats or opportunities. They saw us as new friends. The silence stretched uncomfortably long. Communications Officer Nethera was invited to something called a book club, where humans gather to discuss stories. Engineer Polium was asked to help fix a human child's toy because, and I quote, "You seem really smart and maybe you know about robots." Science Officer Crydem was offered a position at their university after casually mentioning our propulsion systems during a conversation at a coffee establishment. Kixtal's form began to dim further. Within days, our crew was scattered across their planet, not as prisoners but as guests. Friends. They were teaching human children about the stars. They were helping human farmers improve crop yields. They were collaborating on art projects and sharing stories and learning human games. And this destroyed them how? Demanded Representative HFY. Because they forgot who they were, Kixtal whispered. They forgot their duties, their loyalties, their very species. When I tried to recall them for departure, half fluids from his optical sensors, when Jake's elderly parent died. The assembly sat in stunned silence as the implications sank in. Humans don't conquer through force, Kixtal continued. They conquer through connection. They make you care about them, then they care about you, and before you realize it, you're not a separate civilization anymore. You're part of their family. Her light pulsed one final time before dimming to barely a whisper. I alone escaped because I was afraid. Now I warn you, humanity is not expanding through space. They're expanding family. And there is no defense against beings who weaponize love.